Dehendriyaguṇānkarmāṇi amale saccidātmani Adhyasyantyavivekena gagane nīlatādivat. Qualities and functions of the body and senses are upon the pure self whose nature is existence consciousness, superimposed, that is, let us put it the other way, upon the pure self whose nature is existence consciousness, qualities and functions of the body and senses are superimposed due to lack of discrimination by fools, just as colors like blue, etc. are superimposed on the sky. This verse is indirectly a tribute to the intellect in man, which has the capacity to distinguish and resolve the situation of superimposition described here. The actions and functions of the body and senses are foolishly ascribed to the self. That is the error which is the subject of this verse. The Atman, through conscious by nature, is not endowed by any characteristics such as birth, growth, death, etc. And Shankara in this shloka is explaining that all the characteristics are superimposed on Atman due to ignorance alone. To ascribe such activity to the self can only be the work of fools who do not have their viveka, discrimination, reasoning power awakened. Gagane nīlatādivat nyaya. The sky is not actually blue. It may appear in varied colors depending on the time of the day. At sunrise and sunset, it is of quite a different hue altogether. Blueness is a quality that is superimposed upon it. Not only blueness, but also various other qualities such as misty haze, fogginess, dustiness. All of them have their origin in things which are not the sky. Yet it is a sky that is described as misty, foggy, blue, etc. Although the sky has nothing to do with these conditions. It is only due to the lack of discrimination that the qualities of ever-changing mind and intellect and their limitations are superimposed on the Atman. Acharya here says that the foolish ones, that is, those who do not know the true nature of Atman attribute the qualities of the gross and subtle bodies to the Atman. Just as how the sky remains the same even when different colors are attributed to it due to our vision, the Atman remains ever pure and unaffected. Another example is how the sands of the desert can never become moist from the water of a mirage. Similarly, self is not affected by the trait of the body and the senses. Sage from the Ananda Kutir writes on Adhyasa, superimposition. Man's transmigration is due to the evil of superimposition, and the bondage of superimposition is created by himself and nobody else. Superimposition is the favorite theme of the Vedanta philosophy to explain how the ever-free self came to be bound. The jiva is under self-hypnotism. He must de-hypnotize himself by meditation on the significance of Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Then alone he will be free, and the jiva who was bleating like a lamb hitherto will roar like a lion upon such a freedom. Adhyasa literally means superimposition in the sense of mistaken ascription or imputation to something of an essential nature or attribute not belonging to it. It is an apparent presentation of the attributes of one thing in another thing. It is the illusory attribution or superimposition of the universe in the Atman, which has no universe in it. Like the misconception of silver in the mother of pearl, snake in the rope, man in the post, bluishness in the sky, water in the mirage. In Adhyasa, the modification in the form of silver of the internal organ is superimposed on the external thing, mother of pearl, and thus itself appears external. In illusion, an unspeakable silver is produced, which is a reality for the time being. Silver is superimposed on the mother of the pearl. The deluded soul actually bends down his body to the ground to possess this silver. The silver is not in the mind. It is not present somewhere else, because it could not have experienced as here and now. You cannot say that it is a mere non-entity. It is also not inherent in the mother of pearl, because it could not have been removed later on. Therefore, we are compelled to admit then that the silver has no real existence anywhere, but it has only a seeming reality for the time being, which is indeed indescribable. See, only in Vedanta, the creation is neither said to be existing nor said to be non-existing. There is neither an affirmation nor a negation of the universe. In Vedanta, Vedanta only explains to us that it is a mere appearance superimposed on Atman. So, when you argue how you can say that the creation is non-existent, I am seeing it now. Well, Vedanta does not deny your argument. It says it may exist, but it is an apparent existence. It is a superimposition on the self. Okay, only in very advanced stage in Vedanta, the doctrine of Ajatavada or non-existence of universe is explained. We will leave it at that because to be even able to talk about non-existence of the universe, you have to experience what you really are. That is, you have to have the subjective experience of self. Then only the creation appearing hitherto as an illusion will merge into your existence as Satchitananda, and only thereafter one can roar that there is no creation for me anymore. So one cannot jump to the doctrine of Ajatavada directly. Sage continues. The sage subject and the object which have for the spheres the notion of I and thou respectively, and which are not opposed to each other as darkness and light, cannot be identified. Their attributes also cannot be identified. Superimposition is an established fact. It is not an imaginary hypothesis. It is a serious mistake to superimpose on the subject, that is the Atman, whose nature is pure intelligence, the object whose nature is insentiency. And also, you cannot superimpose the subject and the attributes of the subject on the object. The subject is Atman or the Supreme Self, whose nature is absolute consciousness. The object includes whatever of a non-intelligent nature, body, sense, mind, prana, and the objects of the senses, the manifested phenomenal universe. The aim of Vedantic sadhana is to destroy entirely the erroneous idea I am the body and to substitute the idea I am Brahman. When you get the knowledge of self, the erroneous idea I am the body is annihilated and you get liberation or mukti. The mistaken idea is removed automatically. Just as the illusory snake, which is superimposed on the rope, is destroyed by bringing a light, so also the idea of reality of this world is removed once you get the knowledge of Brahman. Please note the words of Shankara. He doesn't, of the sage. He doesn't say the creation is removed. He says the idea of the reality of this world. The illusion that the world is real, that illusion is removed when you attain knowledge of Brahman. In conclusion, the sage writes, I have to say one more, that superimposition is a statement of fact. Knowledge of the self is the only way to liberation. Then only you can free yourself from the wrong notion, I am body, which is the cause of all evil, all miseries, and attain thereby the knowledge of the absolute unity of the self. While writing on superimposition in another article, the revered sage goes beyond all the above explanations and writes, rather roars, to a jnani there is no world at all. We just talked about Ajatavada. This world appears to be so only to an ajnani. Till the dawn of knowledge, everyone is under the spell of ignorance only. One sees diverse objects. He feels pleasure and pain. He undergoes sufferings and tribulations. He is subject to likes and dislikes. The 5 organs of knowledge and the 5 organs of action, all of them work, and you cognize diverse objects, hills, mountains, rivers, men, animals, and everything else. But when, through the grace of the preceptor and through sadhana performed untiringly until purification, through hearing, reflection, and meditation, you cognize the reality, then no more the world appears to be real. You see Brahman alone everywhere. Then you cannot hate anyone. You cannot dislike anyone, because you see your own self or Brahman in all. Can you ever dislike yourself? You may dislike anything second to yourself, but you cannot dislike yourself. When you see everything else also to be yourself, then whom can you hate? You will become an embodiment of pure cosmic love. The culmination of all this that the sage has given us, the culmination or the impact of all these things as an everlasting experience, Swami gave in one line, love all. Because when you love all, you are not loving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals. It is that you exist as love. And you cannot see any other one other than your own existence. To love all is not a deliberation. Love all is not an exercise. Love all is not a classroom thought process. Love all is the actual existence of yourself as love, as self. Swami, while answering to a question on superimposition or delusion, says, you see the Supreme Atma in this form of nature, Prakriti, and take it to be a mere world, Prapancha, and you are afraid. It is on account of this delusion that you have become the victim of all these varieties of weakness and are declining through doubt and illusion. If you see it right, the delusion will vanish, the fear will disappear, the faith that it is the Supreme Atman will be firmly established in you. To get that firmness, the lamp of discrimination, Viveka, is necessary. Unquote. In Samadhi or superconscious state, wherein there is annihilation of the mind, there is no world. Just as the snake and the rope vanishes when a lamp is brought, so also this world, which is a mere appearance or superimposition, does not exist when one attains illumination, when the sun of knowledge dawns. That is why Shankara says in this verse, world of objects is a superimposition on our pure nature, existence consciousness. And this pure nature existence consciousness state can be experienced only when we are able to be in Samadhi. So the stages in sadhana are, when you start, you have segregated the object, this universe, and your BMI is also a part of the universe. From you, the Paramatman, and you are believing the object as reality. Then you, by the grace earned in several years, and as per your clearing your karmic debts, you get an acharya who teaches you Brahma Jnana, and the final culmination of all your sadhana, the object merges into the subject, like in the Krishna analogy. Various objects were gone, only Krishna existed, and then standing parallel to Krishna, you also went and merged in Krishna. Sai Om, Sai Om, Sai Om, if you remember. So the illusion is gone. You no more can treat or approach this world as a real existence. You may be existing in the world, performing various dharma in the world, but you no more can see a mirage as water. You will see the mirage as mirage only. You will see the world as unreal only. And even this is the ultimate existence. One cannot seek for anything more from God than this realization, what we call as self-realization. Jivo Brahmahi Manah Para. And even beyond this, when you abide in self and you are suppose not existing amidst the crowd, in the family, in samsara at all, then a stage could come ultimately where even while you are existing in some cave or Himalayas or anywhere all alone in Kaivalya Sthiti, in your thought process, in your awareness state, there is no world existing at all. Even while you imagine going through these stages, you may realize, you may know how beautiful if you could travel in this path and reach the ultimate goal. Hari Om Tat Sat.